Now on Sunrise, Oregon's special session gets underway, at least officially. Why the House was 9 hours late with hundreds of jobs on the line, and when lawmakers will get back to work. Plus, how a long-awaited investigation finds St. Helens schools failed to protect students from sex abuse. Your news starts now. Good morning, and thanks for getting up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm Libby Dowsett. Your headlines in just a minute, but first, let's check in with Matt Safino for our first look at our Saturday forecast.
Well, good morning, everybody. Hope you're ready for a great weekend because our weather is totally cooperating for the entire run of the Labor Day weekend in the Northwest, with one exception. That would be the smoke and the haze from the wildfires, specifically the Emigrant Fire down in the Southern Oregon Cascades, producing smoke and haze mainly over central and eastern Oregon. Our sky a little bit hazy, but not too bad. Nothing's going to stop you from having a good time outside. We've got morning clouds and afternoon sun. Today it becomes partly sunny, but the temperature is going to be great. Be in the mid 80s, in fact, low 80s today and tomorrow, and then about 85 on Monday. So really, really good weather. So let's look at today. First of all, sunrise 6:30, sunset at 7:51. This day's getting shorter here in late August, but as I said, it's going to be a great day. Partly sunny early, then mostly sunny, 74 by early afternoon, and we'll top out at 83 degrees, just like we did yesterday. And you know what? Since they're going to do it 2 days in a row, how about 3 days in a row? We'll do it again on Sunday. Tomorrow we'll get up to 83, then a bit warmer on Monday, back up to 85.
All right, thank you, Matt. We begin this half hour with a slow and shaky start to a special session in Salem. Oregon lawmakers barely made quorum on Friday, and that's despite the governor making it clear getting transportation funding passed is a huge priority. Alma McCarty has our update from Salem.
The Senate convened at 9 a.m. and quickly adjourned until 2 p.m. on Monday. However, without a quorum, the House was unable to come to order until after 8 p.m. Friday night.
Please be seated.
Lawmakers back in Salem once again.
A quorum is present.
Gavelled in to take another shot at passing a transportation funding package during this special session.
House Bill 3992 relating to state financial administration declaring emergency. House Bill 3991 relating to transportation prescribing effective date, providing for revenue raising that requires approval by 3/5 majority.
But in the House, at least, it took many hours for enough Democrats to get to the Capitol to have a quorum, with no official explanation as to why as of Friday night. Representative David Gomberg expressing thanks to administrators.
The body's gratitude to our clerks team who have been here all day long.
Others, like transportation workers and the union that represents them, viewed these delays with disappointment.
Well, we had workers show up this morning at 7 a.m. expecting to see the Senate go into session at 9 a.m. and expecting to see the House go in at 11 a.m. It was 11 a.m., then it was 1 p.m., then it was 3 p.m., then it was 3:30 p.m., and it's just been watching people not show up to do their jobs.
Supporters of the transportation bill want to see it passed as soon as possible to avert layoffs and large-scale service cuts to ODOT and local transportation and public transit agencies.
I mean, you're talking about a really devastated agency, so the impacts to Oregon statewide would be unreal, really unreal.
Opponents don't want to see new fees or taxes for Oregonians.
It never should have come to this. There are ways to solve this problem that don't actually involve new taxes. And I've suggested that, and I have it in my testimony here. Very simple things that they can start doing today. But if they don't even meet, if they don't show up and there's no quorum, well, then you can't have a conversation.
Lawmakers intend to hear more public testimony when the House reconvenes. Again, the House will reconvene on Sunday at 4 p.m. In Salem, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed says the federal government is overstepping its bounds by demanding information about Oregon voters. 2 months ago, the U.S. Justice Department filed an official statement of interest into Oregon's voting system. They wanted to know what the Secretary of State's office is doing to keep ineligible voters off the voter rolls. More recently, the Justice Department asked for access to Oregon voter information again. But last week, Secretary Reed rejected that request. On this week's edition of Straight Talk, we asked the Secretary of State why he made that decision.
The federal government is exceeding their authority in this regard. They're entitled to public records like anyone else, and if they want to fill out the form and pay the fee, we'll provide them that public record. But it does not include social security numbers, dates of birth, signatures, driver's license information.
We also cover other topics, including President Trump's recent comments about ending mail-in voting. You can watch the latest episode of Straight Talk on KGW tomorrow night at 6:30 and again Monday at 7. It's also available anytime on our free TV app, KGW+. We are learning more about the Oregon firefighter arrested by Border Patrol agents while fighting Washington's largest wildfire. His attorneys tell us the man was living in Kaiser and came to the U.S. with his family when he was 4 years old. He was arrested along with a fellow crew member while they were fighting the Bear Gulch fire on the Olympic Peninsula. Others on the crew say Border Patrol agents checked all of their IDs. Border Patrol says the two arrested were in the country illegally. Agents say one had a previous removal order. Attorneys for the Oregon man say their client had applied for what's known as a U visa 7 years ago, but the application was still pending. He's been a wildland firefighter for the past 3 years.
These men are actually risking their lives to protect all of us. So by arresting people who are doing that work, it's just another way we're seeing the federal government attacking the values that make America strong.
The Oregon man is now being held in the ICE detention center in Tacoma. His lawyers are challenging the arrest and hoping to get him released. In Vancouver, the strike continues for Evergreen Schools employees. The district presented what it called a final contract offer on Friday, but the union says it's a no-go. The strike started Tuesday and both sides have been in mediation all week. The district asked the union to take an official vote on the latest offer, but union leaders say they couldn't coordinate the vote that quickly. The union agreed to keep talking into the weekend, but only if the district skipped extra pay for administrators for negotiating outside work hours. The district said it couldn't guarantee that. As of right now, the first day of school is still set for next Tuesday, though that could be in jeopardy without a deal. The St. Helens School District has finally released an independent investigator's report on what the district did wrong while addressing teachers' alleged sexual conduct. Catherine Cook took a look at the findings, which showed district leaders had multiple chances to intervene after one teacher was accused of misconduct.
The first chance came when the district hired choir teacher Eric Stearns. The report found no evidence that the district ever asked Stearns why he'd been placed on paid administrative leave while at his former district. In 2019, Stearns was accused of touching cheerleaders on their backside during practice. The report found that the case was never properly investigated. He was also accused of putting his hand inside a student's mouth, and again, the report found no substantive investigation. And when Stearns was accused of talking to students about their personal sexual relationships, the report says it took 11 months before any corrective measures were put into place, and Stearns was never reported to authorities. Then last year, someone sent a tip to Safe Oregon. That's a statewide tip line allowing anyone to report school safety concerns anonymously. The investigator found that then St. Helens principal Katie Wagner disregarded that tip. The report also found Wagner failed to follow mandatory reporting requirements when it came to allegations against math teacher Mark Collins. The report made 18 specific recommendations for the district. They include requiring administrators to report all staff suspected of engaging in potential child sex abuse through thorough reference checks for all district job finalists, and moving to in-person staff training on sexual conduct rather than online training.
And the trial of choir teacher Eric Stearns is scheduled to begin in September 2026. He faces 29 sexual abuse charges and has pleaded not guilty to all of them. TriMet says Portland police officers are rejoining the Transit Police Division. It's happening 4 years after the city ended its agreement with TriMet. Portland Police will dedicate 5 officers and a sergeant to the Transit Division. In addition to those 6 officers from Portland, TriMet will add another 4 from other agencies. This brings the total number to 31 when fully staffed. The move raises some questions, though, like whether Portland Police can spare 6 officers when staffing is already stretched thin.
I don't have the exact numbers, but at one point, 60% of the calls we were taking that were TriMet related were being taken by Portland police officers not assigned to the transit division. So there's just a practicality sense that we're doing this work already. We can do it better in partnership with the expertise, the resources, the relationships through transit.
And Chief Bob Day says the goal is to have the officers in place in a couple of weeks.